one of my favorite people. I love the analysis. I love how he does it. He's your longtime color guy of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. He's Luc Mullinder. How are you, my friend? We haven't chatted in a long time.
I know,
good.
man. I've missed you, man. How you been?
Well, good.
Good.
Haven't seen an invite to come by the pool or have any brisket on the smoker, but I'll check the junk mail. Maybe it got lost there somehow.
Don't worry. You're in a long line of folks that haven't gotten that invite, man. We've just been busy, so we got to make it happen. I'm thinking Labor Day, but we'll figure it out.
Ooh, a nice little Labor Day. Quick question, because your son Luther is one of the stars of this show when you do your hits from home. Is Luther going to be making an appearance here? Is it going to be a surprise, or when should we expect to have Luther on?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure that out. Actually, he overheard you now, so of course I think he's coming over now. Yeah, so thanks for that.
Anytime.
But he's in his swimsuit though, so.
I'm inside of my dish just like 2 seconds.
Thanks a lot, man.
I love live radio. This is no edited podcast like Taylor Swift, Jason, and Travis Kelce. Everything that happens here is live.
Did you hear what he said?
Yeah, he's in his sketch. So we're 9 games in, right? 8 games of the Riders. From last year to this year after 8 games, because keep in mind, this was when the losing streak was going on. Are you seeing, because you've been around a lot of coaching staffs, the year-to-year progression that you need to see to have teams that are building to championship caliber qualities?
You know, that's a great question. I think that I was thinking about this actually. So I'm pretty excited about this game. So I've been thinking about this for a minute now, and I was talking to a couple guys in the building today. You know, last year, every time there was a big game, you know, there were times, for instance, the Western Conference is an example, right, where the Riders just didn't really match up to what they really wanted to do. I think, right, fell short. Let's say.
Yeah.
I've said this is a really big game at least twice this year. Specifically, last 2 weeks ago in Montreal. And I remember saying it in BC. I remember saying because BC was looking like a team that was going to really compete for the West. And then Montreal, one of the hardest places to play, a team that was on the up, one of the best defenses in the league. And I feel like, and I want to knock on wood when I say this, though, but this year during the big games, the Riders have really responded. It's been good.
Yeah.
It's been, and it isn't, and I haven't been responding in like just sort of, I mean, sure, but BC, for instance, was an absolute blowout, right? That game was a lot closer on the scoreboard at the end of the game than the actual game was. Montreal, that was dominance.
Blowout. Oh.
The Alouettes did not pass the 48-yard line, period. They needed 2 55-plus yard kicks to score points. That's how dominant that effort was. And so I think it's a real positive step. I think that in the moments where folks are now like, oh, man, this is a big game coming up, I think that the Riders have done a great job preparing, focusing, and executing. And they're going to need all 3 of those tomorrow.
That Montreal game, nobody predicted a 28-point blowout. There was nobody had the guts to say that. Even the most delusional Rider fan. I thought if they won by 10, wow. Luke, the next time they play the Montreal Alouettes, if they get some of their players back and injuries back, I expect, and do you expect, a completely different game if Montreal has a bit of a healthier roster that they can field for that game? Will it look a little different?
I mean, you can make excuses all you want for the Montreal Alouettes. They flat out didn't show up, and they get paid too, right? Hold on a second. Live radio, man, I'll tell you what. Of course, everybody's coming to the house now. Hold on a second.
I love it.
I don't. I sit here and try to work, and my dog goes off. Anyways, yeah, I don't want to make excuses for the Montreal Alouettes. I'm pretty sure they're not making any excuses. And by the way, they had their whole defense, right? So,
okay.
So I just think that with Hamilton coming in here, my God, hold on.
Luke's dealing with his dog at the moment. This is like with Luc Mullinder, color voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, is joining us. It's great. I don't know. Yesterday, I had one of those box delivery meal services at the front door, and he was a good salesman. But no. I said we're old school.
Man,
we do all
I'm
of our
sorry,
own cooking.
guys. This is completely unprofessional. My fault. So what were you saying again, Mass?
Let's jump to tomorrow. Hey, Hamilton's defense. They've gotten better since the season has gone on. Brent Monson, first year, they're starting to put together. They're doing some things because it's that Calgary, it's that coaching tree. It's the Mace, it's the Monson, it's that coaching tree from Calgary. Very similar in ways. What have you liked about Hamilton's defense over these past few weeks where they've been on this winning streak?
I like Monson because I think that when you line up the teams, player for player, I think that the Riders are probably better personnel wise.
Sure,
but I think the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and you're right, Monson does a great job. I've always liked him. I liked him in Calgary, and I think that he's of the same mindset of Mace. But again, I think that tomorrow the difference possibly can be the defenses. I really do think so, right? Like, because when you look at both offenses, you look at Bo Levi Mitchell and his offense, and they're an explosive group, right? Like, they can turn the game on a dime. You look at Saskatchewan, who's approached things really methodical. I think that whatever defense comes tomorrow and brings strategically, but physically too, I think that's going to be a big key to the game. I look at the special teams as a big opportunity for Saskatchewan because, again, the return game for Saskatchewan as of late, we've had a couple youngsters in there, right? They haven't really done what we're used to seeing Mario Alford do very early on in the year. So do you get a little bit more out of your special teams? And fortunately, due to injury, obviously not, player-wise, unfortunately, but due to injury, they're missing one of their returners, right? So I think there's going to be opportunities. But, yeah, like whatever defense does better, I think, tomorrow against both offense, because again, these offenses, man, they're tremendous offenses, right? But again, they do look, and if you look at the numbers, they're almost identical number-wise. It's just to this point, it feels like they've gotten things done in different ways. So defensively, that's going to be sort of the big spotlight. Both defenses, Monson, Monson knows Mueller, right? And you got Mace in there who's done well, and yeah, I just think that tomorrow there's so many things that are going to go into this game. That's what makes it exciting. It's not sort of one like, hey, this is one thing that's going to determine. Defense is a big part of it, though.
Kenny Lawler's been held in check for the last 3 games for the most part. He's still made catches and all that. If you're the Riders, if you got to be Coach Mace here, because you've done this before when you guys have had to scheme against some really good receivers, how do you attack it? Because the Riders do play zone. Do you play man on him? Like, what do you do? Do you put 2 guys on him? Like, how do you? Because he's had, Luke, Lawler in the past, Bombers, Elks, he's had good games against us. He kind of has had our number before.
Yeah. And if you look at, I think that his ability to compete for the high ball is what separates him, right? Like you can scheme a guy open, and you can right, and you can defend a guy. I think that what you got to do with the Ticats offense, they've got White, they've got Lawler, who's their third guy?
Shamar Bridges.
So you've got to take out. There's like a 3 amigos there. You've got to take out the 3 amigos, right? I think that if the Saskatchewan Roughriders, defensively especially, if they're successful, one of the things that they're going to do is it's Keandre Smith I was talking about. Sorry. So they've got Smith, Lawler, and Tim White, right? I think that if you take those guys and you focus schematically on those guys, you're not going to hold all of them. But if your scheme focuses on taking those 3 guys out of the game, this is just my view on it. If your scheme focuses on taking those 3 guys out of the game, then you slow down the offense of Bo Levi Mitchell. Let's try to turn him into like check down Charlie, right? Okay. So if he's going to the backs, if he's going low to medium, that's fine. I feel like they don't want to go slow in Hamilton. They want to hit big. right? Yeah, they want to run the football, but they want to hit big. And that's what they've been really good at, right? You look at every single Hamilton highlight; it's a downfield play. So I feel like if you limit the downfield plays, especially at Lawler, do you bracket the guys? Yeah, probably, right? But you can't bracket everybody on the field, right? But I think that's the key right now. It's a little bit. I think you just got to figure out a way to turn Bo Levi Mitchell to his checkdowns. As long as he's checking down, we're good. Right? The minute he starts actually hitting over the top, then they start getting some momentum. I mean, look at them, the way they're finishing in the fourth quarters, man. That it's really impressive. But if you can slow them down, if you can turn them into a check down offense, I think that's the key.
The over-under tomorrow is 53.5. And I'd mentioned earlier in the week, this could be a game where the first half you may not see much. Maybe it's a 17-10, 17-13, and then the shootout or the highlights or the fireworks come in the second half once the feeling out is done. And people are, because eventually somebody is going to get antsy and, like you had said, going to want to make a big play. Can you check down forever? Who's got more patience? Is it Mark Mueller and Trevor Harris, Scott Milanovic? But Dave, a stat, I didn't believe this. The Riders have gone deep more this year than Bo Levi Mitchell and the Hamilton Ticats. I was like, what? You're kidding me. That's Bo's MO.
That's a big stat. But I think that Hamilton's been a juggernaut in the fourth quarter, right? And that's where you're really going to need, and this sounds like, obviously when I talk about Hamilton being a monster, one of the ways to squash that monster that they are in the fourth quarter is being able to control the tempo offensively, right? Let's get into position, in a close game especially, where we can give a heavy dose of A.J. Ouellette, right? Heavy doses of A.J. Ouellette in the fourth quarter, one of the things that's going to yield are high percentage throws. And what high percentage throws, especially for Trevor Harris, who's over 75%, right? Like this guy's rolling, right? But it's because of the heavy dose of Ouellette / high percentage throws that they get themselves into, right? Now we're controlling that tempo. Now we're kind of squeezing the field, and now we're putting Hamilton, their backs against the wall. But again, you've got to continually. So I think that's going to be a big key. Heavy dose of A.J. Ouellette in the fourth quarter. If the game's close, control the tempo, keep Hamilton's offense off the field, right? But more importantly, if they do come on the field, put them in situations where they're going to have to really think on their feet, where they're going to have to go quick, right? Because the clock's not going to be their friend.
BC, Calgary, and Winnipeg have had to deal with adversity so far this year and win some games and prove themselves, basically. They've had to do some comebacks. They've had to do some other stuff. So far to this point, the Riders haven't faced a ton of adversity. I think you kind of need that. If you're going to be a championship team, you got to find out when the chips are down. Look at last night in Winnipeg. It would have been very easy to fold the tents after giving up a 117-yard missed field goal for a touchdown that ties the game. A lot of guys could have packed it in, but the Bombers stuck it out and hung around. And they're 5-5. And your ex-roommate said on Monday, one Darian Durant, the West Division standings do not matter. In the West Division, records, throw them out. Anybody can beat anybody. You cannot look at that. It means nothing. When I saw Winnipeg last night, I'm like, Ottawa screwed themselves by leaving too much time on the clock. But the Bombers had to make good on it, and they did, and they won because they know how to win. That kind of stuff, you need that as we get into the stretch run here, or the teeth of the schedule, as everybody's talking about.
Yeah, I think that I'm glad you mentioned Ottawa. I think that Ottawa, I mean, you shoot yourself in the foot and you're getting dominated in the first half, right? You've got to make a miraculous effort to even get back into the position. And you're right? Castillo misses a kick. Pimpleton takes it back to the house, right? But again, if that's the way Winnipeg's going to win, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, I think that's a good thing for the rest of the West Division, right? Winnipeg's clearly, I'm not sure what it is, and to be honest, I haven't watched them a ton this year, right? But again, there's something that's preventing them, I think, from making that next step in games, right? Like Ottawa in reality shouldn't have come back in that game at all. That shouldn't have been right. And so I think that that's kind of I think that's a big sign. I really do, and I think that's why you're seeing the Calgarys of the world stepping back in. I think BC, if they can find some consistency, they'll still be good. But Doubles is right. In the Grey Cup, when the two final teams get to the Grey Cup, the West team has beat themselves up, right? They're getting in there, but man, they're beat up, they're bruised, they're bumped up. And the Eastern teams, they tend to come in a little bit fresher, right? And that's kind of the way I looked at it when I played, and that's kind of the way you look at it. I mean, look at the last few Grey Cups, right? But again, it's two very different mentalities. I feel like the Western Division, man, you just punch and punch and punch, and the team that gets in there into the Grey Cup is the one that took the final punch better than obviously everybody else did. But I think that's why the Saskatchewan Roughriders have a chance this year. I think that especially in those big games, I mean, there hasn't been a ton of like major games like this one tomorrow, right? But the ones that have meant something or have had something to do with like, hey, this is a great test, or this is a litmus type of thing. The Riders have played really well, and I think that they need to continue to figure out how to harness the energy during the week, right? Because obviously Montreal was a great practice week, and this one needed to be a great practice week. So the key, I think, was figuring out, hey, guys, I know that we were on the bye when we were preparing for Montreal. I know that we weren't when we went to BC and blew them out, but what are the things that we were successful at during the week in those games? Because we need to harness the same type of energy. Because again, Hamilton's going to look at this the same way, man. This is a big opportunity for them, right? Like, because as much as they're winning right now, if we're being honest, there's still a lot of people going, right?
I know. Paper tigers. Like, there's nothing real there. Well, people said too, hey, the Riders they beat who they've needed to beat, but it wasn't the opposing team's record's not exactly great. But hey, better for us to win those games than lose them.
Yeah. But that's what makes this game getting great, right? Hamilton's got a lot of FUs to give out if they can compete in this game, right? You know what I mean? Like I feel like they're a team that's being disrespected. Honestly, I really do, right? Like they're at the top of the Eastern Division, and everybody's only talking about Bo Levi Mitchell, right? Like this is a team that deserves to be talked about from their holistic roster standpoint. So I think that there's a lot of respect on the line, and that creates a chip on the shoulder. And for the Riders, again, you're looking at. You basically sold out the game. I think they did sell out the game.
They did.
And this is one of the better teams in the league. You got to continue answering the bell, right? Because there's going to be naysayers if you don't answer the bell in the big games, right? But that's the nice thing. They've answered the bell every single time they've needed to this year, and I think again they've got the ability to answer the bell tomorrow. But it's going to have to go well.
Let's go back to your playing days, because tonight's game between the Argonauts and the Elks, both teams have 2 wins. It's not exactly going to script. Right. As a player on both sides, a lot of inconsistency for whatever reason. At this point, you as a player, how do you stay positive? There's Luther making an appearance on the SportsCage.
The way you stay positive is you continue to focus on the things that you can control, right? Okay. You're banged up. Okay, get into treatment. Don't miss treatment, right? There's some mistakes that you saw as a team last game when you looked at it from an offensive or a defensive or a special teams perspective. Get in there and figure out what went wrong, right? How much film are you watching, right? The things that you can control. We don't control if there's a blizzard tomorrow, if there's a hurricane, we still got to play, right? If there's a little bit of smoke in the air, still got to play. There are things that you're not going to be able to control about this game. So the things that you can control all throughout the week, those are the things that you need to focus on, right? Those are the things that get you feeling good on game day, right? When you can make those mental checkoffs in your head on game day, man, I feel good about this because I was in treatment. I treated my body right. I put all the right things in my body this week, right? I'm hydrated. Despite it not being the warmest out, I still understand that I've got to be hydrated, right? My family, my mental space as well. My family's doing well. Things like that. Those are important, and those are the ways that players can really sort of stay on top and continue to feel good about themselves. Realign themselves with the things that they can control, and that's probably the key. I mean, and that's what separates guys. One of the things that separates people who have longer careers from the people that have shorter ones, right? Their ability to actually stick to the main thing, right? Keep the main thing the main thing. Coaches say it all the time.
After tonight, unless it's a tie, the Elks would be 2-7. The Argos would be 2-8. We had Nick Lewis on the other day, and he talked about having strong leadership in the locker room. For the team that loses, is this where a weak locker room falls apart and then the chaos starts if it hasn't started already? Because there's not a lot to look forward to because it's not even Labor Day, and it seems like this thing is over.
Well, it's funny. I've been in this situation, unfortunately, like that. In 2011, we were in that situation. I got traded, thank goodness. I remember Brendan Tamey did me a huge favor, got me out of there. At least that's the way I felt at the time. I didn't want to leave, but man, we were bad. But it's funny, though. This is one of those leagues where you can start 2-8 and still win a Grey Cup. So that's the first thing, right? That's the first thing that'll start because obviously, especially in the Elk organization, they're a proud organization. You talk about those things, right? Like, look, guys, we do need to right the ship. However, this is a league in the CFL where 1-8 teams have gone on to win. BC in 2011, right, is a perfect example of that. Right? I think they started bad too. There have been times where teams have started the season terribly. That's why I think you have the narrative of the whole, oh, don't worry, the season doesn't start till Labor Day anyways, right? Because you are capable of making that grind. So I think that's one of the things in the narratives in the locker room that can keep you from just totally losing focus, right? But you're right. The teams that say that and still aren't able to harness themselves getting back to the things that are going to make them successful, they aren't, right? And Nick's right. The leadership in the locker room, that's what enables the ability to either refocus and move forward and start stepping up, or just be in the same place. And I think that, I've been on teams, especially very early on in my career, right, where we were a team that I think it was 2006 especially. We were a team that thought we could compete for the Grey Cup. And when I started thinking, when I won a Grey Cup, but then when I got a little bit older and we went to the other 2 Grey Cups, and then when I finished my career in Montreal, one of the things that I realized is in 2006, no matter how good we felt about ourselves at the end of it still didn't work out. And then when I looked at it, we were a good group, but we were a group that didn't make any changes, right? We continued to do the same thing, and we liked doing the same thing, right? We were doing whatever we were doing got us into the playoffs, for instance, but we weren't making that next step. Right. And I think that's where the maturity and the leadership in the locker room really sort of steps out, because sometimes you think everything's going right and you've got a real unfortunate realization coming that you actually aren't as hot as you think. Right. And unfortunately, you realize after you've lost in the playoff game. Right. So I think it's totally right. And again, I'm not surprised you get insight like that from Doubles or Nick. It's why they lasted so long in the league, and that's why they were so great in their careers. Right? They understood leadership. They understood things that you need to focus on.
Colson, do you want to throw up the graphic? So the big announcement today by the Riders, there's going to be a preseason game next year at Griffith Stadium in Saskatoon. Something we talked about in training camp to be like, give the folks up there a taste or whatever. 5,000 at Griffiths looks better than 8,000 at Mosaic. But then there's this idea that, and this is kind of like a sideline thing, but I just want to see if the Stamps can have the Stampede Bowl. Luke, the natural, wow. I think I need you on the planning committee. I know. Listen, Curtis went out of his way to just knock this out of the park for the Pilsner Cup, the inaugural Pilsner Cup. We've already found a guy who's going to do a prayer before the game. Dave talked about drunk dudes in togas running around at halftime on the field. That's his contribution. This thing is snowballing. It's gaining momentum.
How big is that thing, though? First of all, Luther, did you like the look of that trophy? Oh, see, Luther approved. So right now, the right demographic likes the trophy. But how big is it? I think that's what you got to do. When I look at that Pilsner trophy, I love it. However, if it's a handheld thing, like a participation trophy handheld that everybody gets for being ninth and eighth place these days, or is it like a big thing that I can hold over my head?
Obnoxious. It needs to be obnoxious enough that Mike McCullough would want to cut in on the picture that will live on in infamy for whoever is holding it over their head. That's how obnoxiously big this thing needs to be.
That I am all for then. I am all for that Pilsner Cup. That is a great idea. That's a very
Nice.
Saskatchewan sort of trophy there too. Put a dent in it. Actually, you know what it needs? It needs the Pilsner can needs a little bit of a dent, and it needs a hole so it looked like it's been shotgunned, because that puts it over the top. So let's get a keyhole and an unlocked thing, so people look like they shotgunned it.
There's going to be no problem getting a focus group together of people that have drank Pilsner to kind of weigh in on ideas. But let's jump here to the NFL.
Best settings in the league.
I know.
Awesome, man. And I can't wait to see them tomorrow. I can't wait to see this crowd, and B, Pilsner Place, man. I keep telling you guys that we should do a game down there. Nobody wants to listen to me. I want to do a game in Pilsner Place.
Luke, you and I both know we got a lot of ideas that nobody listens to, but sooner or later, one of these is going to hit. One of these deep balls is going to connect in the end zone. The season hasn't started yet, but already I feel we're already stuck deep in our end zone as Dallas Cowboy fans. Micah Parsons situation. Jerry seems more off the rocker than ever before. Do we throw in the towel already and just concede? Like, as a Cowboy fan, what do you got to look forward to this season? It's not good.
Don't. Well, you don't throw in the towel because you need something to cry into, and you don't want to do it in your beer. So don't throw in the towel. I do think, though, that we've gotten to the point, and I've been saying this for the last few years, and I'm so glad Denzel Washington said it on ESPN. But Jerry no longer knows how to win. And instead of trying to put people around him that want to win and know how to win, and rightfully so, it's his team, but he's focused on the money. They're the most valuable franchise in North America right now, one of the most valuable franchises in the world. And from a businessman's perspective, you take football out of it, that's what you want to do. He bought it he bought the organization for a few $1 million, and now it's worth billions, right? It's worth I think it was $11 billion at last check.
Yeah.
Right. So as a businessman, he's done an amazing job. But as a football fan base or a football guy, it's been terrible. Dak looks like just sort of another version of I don't know. And I don't like saying this, but Dak is essentially another version of Kirk Cousins. And I don't like saying that because Kirk Cousins is a great Spartan, and I'm from Michigan State, so I don't say that. But that's kind of where his career trajectory is headed, right? Like, he's paid like Pat Mahomes, but the results have been more on the lines of
minus the Super Bowls.
Well, that's what I mean, right? You can't get paid like Pat Mahomes and have the success of a Kirk Cousins and type, right? You're flashy, but it's not getting it done. It's just not getting it done. And I think that I swear, I was talking to my fantasy chat group. Everybody throws in $50 these days or $100 to be part of a fantasy league, and all it really turns out to for a lot of the guys is paying to be in a chat group, and that's what I'm in. Well, I told the chat group, man, I was this close to filling out one of those free agent fan forms the other day, and I still will. I still might.
All right. Well, let's see. Let's not give up on those Cowboys yet. Maybe we long shot territory, but listen. If true Cowboys fans just understand the state of the franchise, man, and I'm going to be cheering. I'm going to be. There's still players I really, really like on the Cowboys, but man, I'm tired of wasting Hall of Fame careers. I actually wouldn't mind if Micah Parsons left, because then we wouldn't waste his career. Like, look at Tyron Smith, Travis Frederick, players like Marion Barber, like Jason Witten, Tyron, like the countless great players that have been in the Dallas Cowboy uniform that have not gotten their just desserts, have not reached the top because their owner doesn't care. So it is what it is. I think I came up with another great idea for you and I. The Frustrated Cowboy Fan Podcast starring Luc Mullinder.
It would be the most
details to come.
Podcast. It would be the most subscribed podcast on iTunes or wherever we put it on immediately.
Nice. I like it. I like it. Have a great call tomorrow between you and Mr. Thomas. Hey, Luther, wrap us up here. Send us to break with a Go Riders.
Go Riders.
Have a good show, man. I'm sorry about the dog earlier.
No, it's no problem. Luther and Luc Mullinder joining us on the Western Pizza Cast Hotline here on the SportsCage.